Richard Childress just broke his silence, and what he said about Cletus McFarland is turning heads all over the NASCAR world. While other drivers were busy roughing him up on the track, the boss of RCR stepped in with a message nobody saw coming. Cletus McFarland finally got his shot at a real NASCAR race last weekend at Rockingham. It did not go smooth. He got bumped around, pushed around, and by the end of it, he admitted it was the hardest thing he has ever done in his life. And then, just to make things sting even more, Talladega shut the door on him for his next planned start. That double hit had fans arguing everywhere online, and a lot of people wanted to know what the big names in NASCAR actually thought about all of it. Well, Richard Childress finally gave his answer. And if you thought he was going to join the crowd of people shaking their heads, think again. Richard was asked straight up about his overall impression of how things went at Rockingham on Saturday. Instead of dodging the question, he went right at it. He explained that this whole plan did not even start with him. It started with his driver, Ty Dillon. Ty brought the idea to Richard, and Richard loved it right away. In his own words, Ty Dillon, when he came to me and he talked about it, I said, "What a great idea, not just for RCR, but for our sport." That right there tells you where Richard stands. He did not see this as a gimmick. He saw it as something good for racing. And then he explained why. Richard said, "Here Cletus, which is Garrett, has like close to 5 million followers. And if we can get 10% of those new fans coming to races and looking at the racetrack because of Cletus, even a small slice of that crowd is a huge number of brand new fans showing up." Richard said Cletus already brought new people to Rockingham in person and brought even more new eyes watching the race on TV. But the race itself got ugly at times. Some drivers on the track were pretty hard on Cletus, banging on him lap after lap. Richard noticed, and he did not like it. He said, "He's a rookie, you know, and I'm proud of what he did last week. He finished 4th in the ARCA race. He's raced, but he doesn't have the experience. I think some of the drivers are beating him up a little excessive because he's getting a lot of attention probably." That is Richard Childress, basically telling the rest of the garage to back off. Cletus is new. Every single driver was new once. There is no reason to treat him like a punching bag just because his name pulls in views. Then came the haters online. You know the ones. The people typing stuff like, "Why does this guy even get to do this?" Richard has been around this sport long enough to know exactly how to answer that. He said, "At least they're talking about you, right? You worry when they don't talk about you." That is pure old-school racing wisdom. If people are mad about you, it means you matter. If nobody is saying your name, that is when you should be worried. Richard kept praising Cletus, too. He said Cletus did a great job, he loves the sport, and the fans follow him because he is a real car guy. And about the mistakes, Richard was not worried one bit. He said, "I can't tell you how many mistakes previous drivers that I've had made when they very first started. So it's racing. I've seen them all come and go." Coming from a guy who has watched rookies walk into his shop for decades, that is a big deal. He is not annoyed by Cletus. He is actually excited. He said watching Cletus and seeing what he can do for NASCAR is what pumps him up right now. After the checkered flag flew at Rockingham, Cletus was honest with everyone. He said it was the hardest thing he has ever done. Richard totally agreed with that. He broke it down like this. He said, "When you step up, if you go from late model to trucks to Xfinity, every step is tougher and tougher and tougher, and I think you learn something from it." Then came the news that really stung. Cletus was hoping to race again soon, but Talladega was not going to happen for him. A lot of fans thought Richard might quietly move on after that rejection. He did the opposite. He doubled down. Richard said, "I think you'll see Cletus. We're going to get him in some more races along the way." He even went a step further and bragged on Cletus a bit. He said Cletus is just a natural talent when it comes to being with the public and speaking for NASCAR. He brings all those numbers with him. Surely a good thing. So even with Talladega slamming the door, Richard Childress is still holding the door open on his end. More races are coming. The experiment is alive. But here is the other side of the story that Richard could not avoid talking about. His own Cup team is in rough shape right now. Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch, his 2 Cup drivers, have been struggling badly in 2026. And with Bristol coming up this weekend, people want to know how he plans to fix it. Richard did not sugarcoat a single word. He said, "We hadn't been a season none of us had planned for sure. We're working hard at it." John Klausmeyer, his whole group. Engineering is working on it. We're missing something. We gotta find it. People said, what is it? If we knew, we'd fix it, but we're working hard to figure it out. That is about as honest as a team owner can be. He is basically admitting that RCR is lost right now, and nobody has the answer yet. But they are grinding every single day to find it. Bristol is not exactly the place where you get to relax either. It is short, tight, and brutal on cars. Still, Richard sounded hopeful, especially about Kyle Busch. He said Bristol is a tough place, but if somebody can do it, Kyle can get out there and wheel it around that place for sure. He also shared the simple secret to winning at Bristol. He said, you gotta finish first. Bristol can be one of them tracks that'll take you out. Then he reminded everyone that RCR has done big things there before. He said, we've loaded 3 of them on the record and we finished 1, 2, 3 there before. A 1, 2, 3 finish at Bristol is no small thing. Not many teams can claim that. Still, the new car this year has been giving RCR fits. Richard admitted the new body style has them scratching their heads. He said, this new car has threw us a little bit of a curve, this new body, but Hendrick seems to found some success with it, and we're all going to get it. We're working hard together to get it up. So imagine where Richard Childress sits right now. On one side, he is defending Cletus McFarland from angry drivers, loud haters, and even a Talladega rejection. He keeps saying Cletus is good for NASCAR and that more races are on the way, no matter who is mad about it. On the other side, he is staring at a Cup team that is missing something nobody can find yet, heading into one of the toughest tracks on the schedule. Between standing up for Cletus when almost everyone else was tearing him down and trying to drag his own team out of a slump, Richard Childress has his hands full like never before. And after his answers this week, one thing is clear. He is not backing away from Cletus, and he is not backing away from the fight to fix RCR.